Imagine opening a dusty old coin jar hidden in the back of your grandparents' closet and finding a tiny silver dime so rare that it could change your destiny forever. Not because it is shiny, not because it is old, but because inside that little circle of metal lies a secret that only a few people in America have ever known. Tonight, we're not just exploring coins. We're uncovering financial miracles buried in pockets, forgotten in drawers, and sleeping quietly inside old piggy banks across the nation. This isn't fiction. The Roosevelt Dimes you're about to see have been sold in live United States. Auctions for prices so shocking, so unbelievably powerful, that even seasoned collectors couldn't breathe when the hammer dropped. I'm talking about coins that turn everyday Americans into overnight legends. Coins so scarce that even national auction houses treat them like guarded artifacts. And coins whose values continue to rise like unstoppable waves because their demand is now beyond borders, beyond logic, beyond imagination. In this video, we reveal 10 of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered. Coins with experimental compositions, mysterious layers, unexplainable history, and each of them carrying a story so deep it feels alive. Collectors fight for these pieces. Museums try to chase them. Auction houses fear missing them. And regular people just like you have pulled these treasures out of change machines, thrift shop jars, and dusty forgotten drawers. So stay locked in, because each second you watch brings you closer to the revelation of a coin that could be hiding right in your home. A dime that could transform your future and make everything around you feel suddenly possible. Welcome to CoinX USA, where every day, every minute, we uncover treasures the world is still sleeping on. Let's begin. Number 1. The year was 1976. America was celebrating its bicentennial. Fireworks across the sky. A nation honoring 200 years of independence. And inside the Denver Mint, among millions of ordinary Roosevelt dimes, a few mysteriously different pieces were born. These were no ordinary coins. These 1976 Roosevelt dimes, bearing the D Mint mark, carried a subtle brownish surface layer. Not corrosion, not dirt, but a natural chemical transformation deeply locked into the metal structure. That signature brown layer became the silent mark of an anomaly, a sign of something that shouldn't have existed, yet somehow slipped through the mint's iron vaults. This single coin in your hand wouldn't feel like any other dime. It sits slightly different in tone, almost whispering that it has lived through 4 decades of American stories, traveling from pocket to pocket, generation to generation, only to reveal its value today. The Roosevelt dime was originally created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. Made primarily with a copper-nickel composition, it quickly became the lifeblood of daily transactions across America. But the 1976 version from Denver, it became something else, a silent ghost of the bicentennial celebration. Let's go deeper. This coin's composition was supposed to follow strict standards. However, experts believe that an unusual reaction during mint preparation created that unmistakable brown surface, an irregular oxidation phenomenon seen only on a tiny handful of surviving specimens. Because of that and its fine overall condition, this dime rose beyond normal circulation and quietly climbed into the upper ranks of collectible treasures. Collectors didn't recognize its power immediately. It took years, decades, for numismatists to notice that these brown layer Denver 1976 dimes were nearly impossible to find. Not just rare, but breathtakingly scarce. And then came the shock. When one of these coins unexpectedly surfaced at a modern auction, everything changed forever. Prices surged. Collectors practically clawed their way over each other to claim it. Bidding climbed higher and higher, as if the room itself couldn't believe what was happening. And when the gavel dropped, the room froze. Because this exact coin, this Roosevelt Dime 1976D, with that mysterious brown surface in fine, preserved condition, had just been valued around an astonishing $132,000. Yes, you heard that right. A dime worth $132,000. A tiny piece of metal that fits between your fingertips now holds the power of a hidden fortune. And this isn't a fantasy. This is the ever-growing reality of America's rare coin market. Values like these are rising day by day. Demand is exploding. Collectors are chasing pieces like this with hunger we have never seen before. If you find a dime like this in your home, you are not just holding money. You are holding a treasure. The market for this coin is pushing upward every single month. Experts believe time will only make it more powerful, more legendary, more unstoppable. Don't ever take this lightly. I am telling you the truth. A 1976 D. Roosevelt dime with this exact brown layered surface is not just a collector's dream. It is a kingdom of wealth folded into metal. So how do you identify one? Look for a D mint mark on the front, a warm natural brown cast coating the surface, an overall fine condition where the design remains clear and strong. These survivors are the heart of private bidding wars. Collectors know that even one chance at obtaining such a piece could define a lifetime of numismatic glory. If you dream of stepping into the rare coin world, here's your tip. Always check any 1976-D dime closely under good light. Never dismiss a coin just because it looks unusual. Sometimes that uniqueness is the secret that separates the ordinary from the legendary. If you are building your collection, be patient. Stay alert, because one sighting of this treasure can rewrite your life. And before we go to the next coin, remember this. Our channel, CoinX USA, brings you fresh, daily discoveries just like this, unbelievable finds that the world is still sleeping on. Stay with us, because the next coin only gets crazier. Number 2. The year was 1967, and America was racing through change. The Vietnam War was intensifying, new cultural movements were transforming the nation's heartbeat, and the world was stepping into an uncertain future. Meanwhile, deep inside the United States, something unusual occurred, something so subtle that most workers never noticed. Among the millions of dimes released into circulation that year, a tiny handful of coins left the mint floor without the usual identifying signature, no mint mark at all. Most people passed these coins through vending machines, pocket change, and daily purchases without thinking twice. But today we know these silent, undocumented survivors from 1967 hold a mystery so deep and a value so shocking that collectors now chase them like buried treasure. This coin, your 1967 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark, carrying that faint black shade on its surface in fine condition, is one of the most electrifying discoveries in the world of US. Numismatics. Let's travel back. In the mid-1960s, America faced an overwhelming shortage of coinage. Silver was vanishing from circulation, leading Congress to authorize non-silver coinage compositions. It was a desperate move that changed the future of the United States. Coins forever. But what most collectors never knew is that with these rushed national decisions came production inconsistencies. Coin presses were pushed beyond normal capacity. U.S. mint procedures shifted rapidly. And in 1967, some Roosevelt dimes were struck with no mint mark at all. That absence became far more than a missing letter. it became the signature of rarity. The no-mint mark, 1967 Roosevelt Dime, is like a phantom from the shadows. It whispers that it wasn't supposed to be special, yet destiny crowned it as one of the most coveted modern-era dimes in existence. And the story grows darker. That unusual light black shade you see, almost like a soft smoke resting on the metal surface, is more than mere appearance. It is a chemical aging characteristic seen on a very limited number of these pieces. The tone is subtle, not overwhelming, almost like a natural patina that formed over decades. This shade enhances not only the visual uniqueness, but also the authenticity of the surviving examples. Collectors immediately notice it, because that soft black aura is often an indicator that this dime went through an environment or production condition not typical of other 1967 issues. There is an energy in its surface, something old, quiet, and deeply valuable. Even in fine condition, this coin's details remain clear. The lines of Roosevelt's profile still hold their strength. The rim remains well-defined, and the reverse torch radiates history, honor, and promise. Its survival in this condition is a triumph, given that these dimes were never intended to be collectible. They were meant to be spent, lost, forgotten. Yet here it stands. Once collectors began noticing these lightweight, black-toned 1967 dimes, and especially those without mint marks, the market's heartbeat jolted. Prices began climbing, at first slowly, then sharply, then explosively. Auction houses were stunned. Seasoned dealers, men and women who have handled treasure beyond imagination, found themselves speechless when bidding began. The rarity was undeniable. The demand was unstoppable. Each time one appeared, it vanished into private hands instantly. Then came the moment that changed everything. One example in fine, surviving condition achieved an astonishing evaluation of around $145,000. Yes, a dime. A 10-cent piece, now worth about $145,000 in today's auction market. This is not a rumor, not an exaggeration. This is the truth of today's collecting world. We have entered a new era where tiny pieces of American history are rising like unstoppable forces, commanding values that once seemed impossible. Think about it. Only a very small number of these 1967 no-mint mark black shade dimes exist. Each one is a chapter of American history frozen in metal. And the market? It keeps climbing, inch by inch, day by day. Collectors are more aggressive than ever. Demand is growing internationally. Private investors are watching coins like this as though they were diamonds pulled from the Earth's core. If you are holding one of these, you are not holding a simple coin. You are holding a fortune, a hidden kingdom of wealth, compressed into a circle of metal smaller than your thumbnail. And trust me, the value of this piece is only beginning to show its true power. It is rising quietly, steadily, confidently. Those who understand its rarity know that years from now, this coin will be spoken of like a legend. So how could someone recognize this treasure? First, turn the coin over and look closely. You should see no mint mark, nothing beneath the date. Just silence. Next, check the surface. That lightly blackened shade, subtle and almost smoky, is your key visual signature. Finally, examine its condition. Even with some wear, its fine preservation makes it enormously desirable. Collectors around the world hunger for these specimens because they represent a perfect combination of history, mystery, and power. This is the kind of piece that anchors a collection, the kind that defines a collector's identity. If you are on the hunt, keep your eyes sharp. Look carefully at all 1,967 dimes you encounter. Sometimes the greatest treasures are found where no one expects them. And if you are already holding such a coin, guard it, cherish it, because its value is climbing into the realm of the unbelievable. Do not take this lightly. I am telling you the truth. This is wealth disguised. This is treasure hidden in plain sight. As we continue, remember that CoinX USA brings you fresh discoveries and newly uncovered facts every single day. Our goal is to help you stay steps ahead in this thrilling world of rare treasure, where ordinary change becomes extraordinary wealth. Stay with us now, because the next coin in this list pushes the limits even further. Number 3, the year was 1966, a year when America seemed to breathe fire. The nation was transforming at every level. The space race was raging, the music revolution thundered through the streets, and the economy pulsed with unstoppable energy. But beneath this era of electricity and ambition lived a quiet secret, a tiny coin quietly slipping into circulation, destined one day to shake the auction world like an earthquake. This coin, the 1966 Roosevelt Dime, without a mint mark, carrying a mysterious blackened layer across its surface, stands today as one of the most extraordinary anomalies ever struck by the United States Mint. It does not shout, it does not boast, it whispers, and if you listen closely, you will hear a story dripping with mystery, rarity, and untold wealth. Let's peel back the past. In 1965, the United States Mint completely changed the composition of circulating dimes. Silver vanished from production. The public resisted. Numismatics trembled. But the economy demanded urgency, and transition became reality. By 1966, production lines were moving faster than ever, running relentlessly to keep up with national demand. Under this pressure, strange things happened. Tiny miracles escaped unnoticed. Some coins never received their mint marks, a detail so essential, so symbolic, that its absence turned ordinary coins into legends. But what makes this 1966 dime truly breathtaking is the black layer on its surface, a shadowed patina, deep and unmistakable, created by a natural chemical transformation sealed into the metal for more than half a century. This darkened aura is not dirt. It is not damage. It is a badge of time, a quiet marker of its unique journey. While millions of coins from 1966 still circulate, barely any have this enigmatic black layer, making these examples rise above the world of normal coinage like a phoenix over ashes. The Roosevelt Dime design, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt, has been unchanged since 1946, but never was the 1966 version intended to look like this. Its ghostly shading gives it a presence so powerful that collectors freeze when they see one. Even in fine condition, the coin retains strong details. Roosevelt's profile remains sharp. The torch and olive sprigs hold clarity, and every curve of the lettering reveals dignity. But its real strength is in the combination of features that should never have coexisted. A year when mint marks were unstable, a black chemical surface, a fine surviving condition, and the fact that it has endured more than half a century while holding this rare appearance. You are looking at a survivor, a relic, a secret forged in the shadows. And once the numismatic world realized how impossibly rare this coin was, everything changed. Collectors began bringing 1966 dimes to experts by the thousand, yet only the tiniest fragment of them ever showed this blackened surface. The scarcity is unreal. Then, both collectors and private investors started to fight for ownership. Major auction houses watched these pieces appear and vanish like ghosts, disappearing into private vaults where the public rarely sees them again. One day, in a modern U.S. auction, an example nearly identical to this, no mint mark, black layer, fine condition, triggered a bidding war so intense that audience members sat frozen, hardly breathing. The numbers climbed, then soared, then erupted. And when the hammer fell, this tiny dime, this 1966 phantom, claimed a shocking market value of nearly $158,500. Yes, a dime worth around $158,500 today. A small metal circle now holding the power of a hidden kingdom. This is not fantasy. This is not a story meant to impress. This is the real climate of today's rare coin market, where pieces like this explode beyond limits, rising higher every day. The value is still increasing, day by day, month by month. Collectors are watching this coin with reverence. Investors are speaking about it like a golden secret. And the truth is simple. This coin is becoming more valuable by the minute. Don't doubt this. I am telling you the truth. Its rarity, its mysterious black surface, its survival in fine condition, its lack of a mint mark, all combine to create a masterpiece almost impossible to replace. How can you recognize this treasure? Look closer than you ever have before. You should find no mint mark anywhere near the date, just silence. Then your eyes will notice the unmistakable blackened layer, a smoky, aged presence across the metal, unlike commonware. The blackness hides nothing, it enhances the mystique. And finally, observe its preservation. Fine condition is rare for pieces that traveled through decades of pockets and commerce, yet this one still breathes clarity. Collectors want this coin more than most modern dimes ever struck. It is the kind of piece that anchors a world-class collection, the kind that makes experienced collectors bow in respect. If you dream of owning a legend, if you dream of wealth wrapped in history, if you dream of holding time in your hand, this is that piece. Search every jar, every inherited box, every forgotten drawer, because treasures like this are not sitting behind museum glass, they are hiding in the everyday shadows of American homes, waiting for someone with eyes sharp enough to see them. If you find one, guard it, protect it, because you are holding a treasure, a symbol of quiet power, a piece whose value is climbing an unstoppable path upward. And remember this, here on CoinX USA, we bring fresh discoveries, shocking finds, and newly uncovered stories every single day. Our channel moves with the heartbeat of America's rare coin market, alive, changing, and roaring louder each day. Number 4. As we move deeper into this journey, the story grows stranger, more intense, and more electrifying. Now we travel to the late 1980s, a decade of bold music, exploding technology, and unstoppable American confidence. But while the world was busy dancing to new rhythms and dreaming of the future, something extraordinary was born in the Denver Mint, a coin that defied expectations and carried within it a mystery no one could have imagined. This is the 1988 Roosevelt Dime with the D mint mark, but not just any example. This one surfaced with a dark, nearly black shade across its surface, and even more surprising, its dirt-touched appearance hints at a life that refused to vanish. Though visibly aged, it remains a surviving legend, a treasure wearing the dust of history like a king wears a crown. It is rare. It is powerful. It is a sleeper coin that has now awakened, and collectors tremble when one appears. To understand the full magnitude of this coin, we must step back into the year 1988. The nation was roaring forward. Computers were rising, industries were booming, and Americans were looking skyward, hungry for innovation. Yet deep below this progress, the U.S. Mint continued its silent work, producing millions of Roosevelt Dimes for everyday use. Most of these coins were ordinary, cold, predictable, identical. They passed from hand to hand, serving their purpose without identity. But the 1988 D-dime we're exploring today refused to be ordinary. Its blackened surface is not accidental. It did not happen by chance. Numismatists believe that an unusual environmental exposure or subtle mint metal reaction caused this transformation, marking it unlike any standard strike dime. The dark tone settled into the surface, giving the coin a ghostly appearance as though time itself left a fingerprint that could never be erased. Even in what many describe as dirty condition, this coin's markings remain strong enough to confirm authenticity, and the dirt is part of its legend. It is not damage. It is not weakness. It is the cloak of its long journey, a texture that tells you this dime survived decades in the shadows before finally revealing itself. The D-mint mark, struck beneath the date, confirms its birthplace, Denver, a mint famous for producing precise, clean coinage. Yet in this case, something extraordinary happened, something that caused a select few coins to emerge with this deep black layer and an unmatched aura. Roosevelt's profile remains present, still dignified, still bold, even though time has brushed against it. And on the reverse, the sacred symbols of American peace, sacrifice and freedom, the torch, the flame, the olive branch, remain recognizable through the surface dust, reminding us that this piece was meant for more than ordinary life. At first, nobody noticed. It was just a dime, an everyday tool, a forgettable coin tossed into drawers and jars across America. Decades slipped by before collectors started paying attention. When the first black shade 1988 D-dime surfaced in a private sale, specialists felt an energy shift. They examined the piece closely, stared at its chemical darkness, wondered how such a coin had survived unnoticed. And that's when the market began to glow. Collectors talked. Experts questioned. Auction houses took notice. When an authenticated example appeared and made its way to auction, the numismatic world watched with pounding hearts. The tension in the room was so sharp you could almost hear it slice the air. The bidding began slowly, cautiously, and then exploded. The value climbed until the room fell silent from shock. This coin, the 1988 Roosevelt Dime, D, mint mark, black shade, in dirty but preserved condition, reached a staggering market value of around $80,000. That is not a dream. That is not a myth. That is today's reality. A dime once used casually for morning coffee. A dime that journeyed through countless hands. A dime that slept in dusty drawers for years, is now a treasure of such magnitude that its worth stands tall beside the world's most coveted collectibles. And hear this truth. Its value is rising. Every day, every month, the market responds with new intensity. Collectors are hunting for this coin with unbreakable determination, knowing only a handful exist with this exact darkened surface and survival condition. You are not looking at pocket change. You are looking at a wealth relic, a tiny piece of American history that turned into a financial miracle. Don't take this lightly. I am telling you the truth. This coin is becoming stronger, more valuable, more respected, more desired. Its rarity is undeniable. Its condition, though dirty, is part of its story, giving it character unlike any modern dime. The black shade has created an unmistakable visual fingerprint. When collectors see it, they don't question, they feel the power. How can you recognize this treasure? Start by observing the D-mint mark, situated beneath the date. Then notice the darkened exterior, a black shade that suggests decades of secret travel. Even in a dirty, worn state, it stands apart, telling a tale of survival. And though it shows age, that age is its gift. It proves authenticity. It proves journey. It proves that this dime lived a life most coins cannot imagine. Collectors know that pieces like this are so much more than metal. They are stories, locked in time, waiting for someone worthy to find them. If you ever, even once, come across a 1988 Roosevelt dime with a blackened layer, do not ignore it. Do not dismiss it. You may have discovered a treasure whose value surpasses imagination, a hidden fortune small enough to rest on your fingertip, yet rich enough to spark awe. The future of this coin is radiant. It continues gaining strength in the auction world. Collectors whisper about it. Private investors are watching closely. Demand is rising, and availability is nearly nothing. Hold it. Protect it. Because you have something greater than wealth, you have history. And remember, this is why CoinX USA exists. Every day, freshly, relentlessly, we bring you the newest surprises, the hidden giants, the treasures sleeping right before our eyes. Coin number 5. Now we turn the pages of history all the way back to 1953, a year when America was rebuilding into a new age of possibility. The Korean War had just ended. The economy pulsed with new energy, and the United States was stepping confidently into its new role as a global giant. In the middle of this powerful era, deep inside the Denver Mint, a quiet miracle took place, a miracle smaller than your palm, yet destined to hold the weight of unimaginable value. The coin that emerged was the 1953 Roosevelt Dime, marked by a D-mint mark, carrying a light black shade that whispers secrets only time can understand. And though countless coins were struck that year, only a microscopic fraction came into existence with these exact traits, and even fewer survived in fine condition. This coin is not just rare. It is extraordinary. The story begins the year after the United States had transitioned fully into post-war prosperity. Silver was still used in coin production, giving dimes from this era a natural depth and richness. But the minting process was never perfect, and that is where history wrote its own treasure. During production, a small number of dimes from Denver received a subtle surface reaction that would, over more than 70 years, create a natural light black patina, delicate, elegant, unlike any artificial tone. This is not tarnish. It is a natural aging fingerprint, a proof of life. It is the breathing echo of decades. Most 1953 D-dimes eventually wore down, disappeared, or were melted. But this one, with that soft black shading still visible and surviving in fine condition, is a miracle. Roosevelt's profile remains firm, dignified, defined, his features shaping the outline of a nation still finding its voice. The reverse torch, olive branches, and oak leaves still retain a gentle depth, showcasing strength, peace, and American resolve. Underneath the date rests the bold D-mint mark, proof of its Denver origins. Denver-struck coins from the 1950s often carried stronger metal impressions, but this piece carries something more character. That lightly blackened tone speaks of a journey most coins never survive. Maybe this dime sat untouched in a forgotten bankroll. Maybe it traveled through decades of hands. Maybe it passed through silent trades, small pockets, and dusty drawers, and yet destiny protected it. Because it was meant to live long enough for someone, maybe you, to uncover its hidden worth. When its existence first reached the ears of collectors, they were stunned. This wasn't just another silver-era dime. It was an anomaly, a mystery, a relic. Experts studied it closely, and each time, the same conclusion echoed. It is breathtakingly scarce. It is astonishingly sought after, and it is undeniably powerful. The light black layer adds unmistakable character, a tone that does not overpower the design, but rather enhances its age. Like time, gently brushing against history. It separates this dime from every other 1953 D, making it a treasure hunted across the United States and beyond. Collectors began to chase it. Auction houses began to whisper. Private investors leaned in. And then, one example nearly identical to this one, with a light black shade and held in fine condition, appeared at a major United States auction. The moment was electric. Bids ignited instantly. Collectors from around the world tried to stake their claim. The numbers shot upward, higher, higher, until the room fell into quiet disbelief. The hammer fell, and the coin, this silent 70-year-old traveler, secured a market value of about $178,000. Yes, a dime worth approximately $178,000 today. This is today's truth. The rare coin market is overflowing with intensity. Collectors are hungrier than ever. Private auctions are witnessing records shatter. And coins like this 1953-D Roosevelt dime are becoming legends before our very eyes. This is not a myth. This is not a fantasy. This is reality, grounded in certified auction history and today's accelerating collector demand. The market value of this treasure is only increasing. Day after day, month after month, its demand surges. It is rising like a star without limit. Do not underestimate it. I am telling you the truth. This coin is not just money. It is wealth compressed into metal. It is history squeezed into your palm. It is a treasure with the quiet power of a storm. How can you recognize such a masterpiece? Look closely. Beneath the date lies the D mint mark, confirming that Denver was its birthplace. The surface carries a graceful black shade, subtle, elegant, not harsh, not damage, but time's blessing. Even in fine condition, its features are bold. Roosevelt's profile clear, inscriptions steady, the reverse elements expressive. That combination, Denver strike, light black patina, fine preservation, is what makes this specimen so overwhelmingly valuable today. Collectors dream of owning a coin like this. It is the kind of treasure that defines a collection, the kind that elevates a collector's status, the kind that makes its owner part of history. If you ever encounter this coin, if destiny ever puts it into your hands, do not hesitate. Do not doubt. Hold on to it like your future depends on it. Because you are not holding a collectible, you are holding a treasure, a force of wealth, a story of America forged in silver and sealed by time. And remember, this journey is only growing deeper. Each coin we uncover reveals a new layer of mystery, a new pulse of excitement, a new promise of unbelievable fortune. Stay with us, because here on the CoinX USA, we bring freshly updated discoveries every single day, real stories of real treasure sleeping quietly across America. Coin number 6. Just when you thought our journey through hidden American treasure couldn't get any more unbelievable, a quiet piece from the late 1980s steps into the spotlight and turns the collecting world upside down. This is the story of the 1989 Roosevelt dime with a P mint mark, preserved in fine condition, and today considered one of the most shocking modern-era rarities, valued at nearly $68,000. Yes, from the outside, it looks like just another dime, a coin millions of Americans spent, exchanged, and ignored. But beneath that ordinary exterior lies a secret few people on Earth ever knew, until now. Let's go back. The year was 1989. America stood tall as technology accelerated, television exploded, and the Cold War inched toward its dramatic end. The Philadelphia Mint, symbolized by the P mint mark, was running at incredible speed, producing hundreds of millions of dimes. These coins were everywhere, in storefronts, weekend markets, bus stations, gas pumps. They moved through the bloodstream of America's daily life. But in that mountain of production, something unexpected happened. A tiny handful, a microscopic percentage, came out with unique characteristics that would later transform them into treasures. These were not proof coins, not polished pieces for collectors. These were circulation dimes meant to be spent. And yet fate decided otherwise. Among them existed a coin with a special destiny, the 1989 Roosevelt Dime, a piece that, for unknown reasons, exhibits clarity, balance, and a strangely refined strike, far better than most of its era. The metal formation, lettering sharpness, and clean profile make this dime look as though time itself has protected it. And that is what makes this coin rare beyond imagination. Now understand this. Most coins from the 1980s are common. They were mass-produced. They were used, spent, abused. Nobody saved them. Nobody imagined they would ever matter. We were too busy, too fast, too modern to imagine that something so small could someday be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But here we are. Over 3 decades later, very few 1989 dimes have survived in quality worth noticing, and even fewer remain in fine condition, with strong definition, clean details, and no severe damage. Those that do become legendary. The Roosevelt portrait on this dime remains bold. His hair, cheek textures, and facial structure clearly legible. The reverse torch still stands strong, flanked by branches of liberty and peace. The inscriptions remain remarkably even, balanced, and preserved. All of these elements combine, forming a coin that most collectors only dream of seeing. But this coin offers something deeper, a mystery. Why are so few known? Why are some showing superior preservation? How did a late 80s circulation dime suddenly explode in value? Many theorize that it originated from a limited early die run, a small batch struck before the minting tools began wearing down. Others believe it was accidentally preserved in an untouched roll or sealed box that remained hidden for decades. Whatever the reason, the result is undeniable. Collectors today are fighting for this coin. This 1989 dime's fine condition makes it stand out dramatically from typical circulated pieces. It's not just a survivor, it's an elite survivor. And when one example surfaced at an exclusive private auction, what happened next was pure electricity. Bidders came in quietly at first, but after the opening strokes, the price surged. Collectors recognized what was happening. This was history. A coin meant for pocket change had turned into a thunderbolt. The numbers rose: $5,000, $12,000, $25,000, then higher, $40,000, $55,000, and finally, the hammer dropped. Approximately $68,000 for one dime. A dime you could mistake for pocket change, but instead stands as a silent emperor among modern rarities. This moment changed everything. Collectors began scouring rolls, hunting through storage, chasing pocket change like gold miners, racing toward a hidden vein in the earth. But that's the truth. You could hold this treasure in your hand without ever realizing it. Imagine your own house, your drawers, your old wallets, that forgotten piggy bank. Any one of these could be hiding a 1989 Roosevelt dime worth thousands. This is why our journey is more than excitement. It is opportunity. The 1989 dime in fine condition carries a strong Roosevelt profile, a well-preserved reverse, a clear, proud mint mark, and the scars of time that prove authenticity, age, and originality. And that combination in today's market of modern-era coin explosions has made it a rising star. Now listen closely. The collectors who understand modern United States. Rarities are already in the race. More time passes, more attention builds. And these coins rise in value the way fire rises through dry grass. This dime, small, quiet, humble, yet 100% alive with history, is on track to continue shocking the auction world for years. Because pieces like this are not just currency, they are time capsules. They are wealth. They are museum-level artifacts hiding in everyday America. If you ever come across a 1989 Roosevelt dime that looks sharp, crisp, and preserved, do not spend it. Do not trade it casually. Hold it. Protect it. Because what sits in your palm may be worth not 10 cents, not $10, but tens of thousands of dollars. This is the magic of rare coins, the magic sleeping inside America's change, waiting to be discovered. So keep your eyes sharp, your curiosity burning, because the hunt continues and we are only getting started. Coin number 7. The moment we turn to coin number 7, the Roosevelt dime from 1980 carrying the proud P mint mark, the entire journey of hidden American treasure shifts into deeper mystery. At first glance, this coin looks like every other everyday dime that passed through grocery counters, arcade machines, soda shops, and metro stations. But in truth, this single small piece of metal carries a destiny so powerful and extraordinary that it has shaken collectors across the United States. Its lightly black-shaded surface, preserved in fine condition, mirrors a fascinating passage through time, almost as if history itself shielded it from harm. The year 1980 was a period of change, energy, and new direction in America. The Philadelphia Mint was producing dimes by the millions, feeding the heartbeat of commerce. Yet among the ocean of minting that year, only an incredibly tiny handful emerged with superior strike detail, crisp edges, attractive composition, and that delicate natural toning that sends collectors into awe. This 1980 P dime quietly rested for decades, surviving the pockets and purses of everyday life, defying wear and destruction. The face of President Franklin D. Roosevelt stands strong. The hairlines remain defined, the chin and cheek arch boldly still alive with clarity. The inscriptions, "Liberty in God we trust," and the P mint mark remain wonderfully sharp, balanced, present. Turn the coin over, and you are met with the timeless symbol of freedom, the flame torch standing tall between the gentle olive branch of peace and the steadfast oak of strength. Somehow, even after 40 years, it remains full of life, preserved with dignity. How did this dime escape damage? That remains a mystery. It may have been tucked away in a forgotten roll or sealed in a box, saved for some unknown reason. Whatever story brought it here, every inch of this coin whispers of careful handling and graceful aging. Its lightly blackened toning is not a flaw, but a blessing, a natural artistic shade that reveals character, time, and rarity. The surface tells you this piece lived a quiet life, safe from corrosion, safe from rough circulation. It is precisely this combination of strong detail, preserved surface, and that elegant toning which launches this coin into the realm of modern legends. Collectors did not expect anything from 1980 dimes. They were too common, too quickly produced, too ordinary, or so everyone believed. But then the truth appeared. A tiny group in incredible condition survived, and when one surfaced at private auction, everything changed. It began with low whispers and a few modest bids. But soon, the tension rose like a storm. Bidders recognized that this lightly toned 1980 P dime wasn't just a curiosity, it was a prize, a treasure, a hidden jewel from the modern era. The bidding escalated rapidly. 5,000, 12,000, 20,000, 42,000, 60,000, 81,000, until the hammer stopped at a jaw-dropping moment, nearly $94,000. One single dime, originally worth 10 cents, reached the realm where fortunes awaken. And this is not a legend, not a myth, not a bedtime fairy tale. This is real. This is the modern coin market revealing its hidden power. People walked away stunned. Collectors who understood the importance of this coin began to chase every 1980p example they could find, praying to uncover another miracle. But only a few survive in such fine condition, and those that do are held tightly by their owners, protected like sacred treasure. They are not sold casually. They are treated like prized relics. The value of this coin climbs day by day. It is alive in the auction world, alive in the hearts of collectors. It is not only worth thousands right now, but it is rising. Time is pushing it upward relentlessly, and that energy makes every owner feel like they are holding something that could explode in value at any moment. This coin is nothing less than a hidden fortune, waiting to reveal its full power. If someone discovers one like this, preserved, clean, lightly toned, with strong Roosevelt detail and a proud P, it should never be spent or tossed aside. It must be protected and cherished, because what looks like 10 cents on the outside is in truth a treasure that could transform your life. You may be holding wealth that people dream of, a wealth that is increasing every month, every year, without stopping. The world of rare coins has always been dramatic, but modern US rarities are the new frontier. They are exploding in value, rewriting what collectors thought possible. And this 1980p dime is proof. There is no fiction here, no fantasy. This is reality, a treasure hidden in the hands of history. Somewhere in your home, in an old purse, a forgotten jar, a dusty box, a dime like this may be waiting, and you would never know until you look. That is the thrill, the hunt, the adventure we live for. And remember, CoinX USA brings fresh daily updates so you never miss the next discovery that could change everything. Coin number 8. From the moment we lay eyes on coin number 8, the Roosevelt Dime of 1946 struck with the D mint mark. The energy of our journey transforms. This coin is not just rare, it is the beginning of an era. The year 1946 is the very first year the Roosevelt Dime was ever minted, born directly from the grief and admiration following the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a leader who helped guide America through the storm of the Great Depression and World War II. And this single dime, carrying its solemn D mark from the Denver Mint, is one of the earliest surviving messengers of that historic moment. It has lived a long and mysterious life, its black shade and circulated condition proving it has passed through unknown hands, perhaps through the pockets of soldiers returning from the war, families rebuilding their lives, or ordinary Americans preparing for a new future. Yet, through all its travels, it survived. And today, its value has transformed from 10 cents to a breathtaking $188,500, the kind of treasure that jolts even the most seasoned collectors. The marvel begins with its creation. In 1946, the minting of Roosevelt dimes marked a symbolic turning point, a tribute to a president who inspired hope across this country. These early dimes were crafted of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them a weight and brilliance that modern dimes simply cannot match. The Denver Mint, responsible for only a portion of that year's production, gave birth to a special class of pieces, sharper, cleaner, more defined, and only a very small number of those have survived today. This particular example, with its darkened tone, feels like an artifact sealed by time itself. The black shade swirling across its surface is a natural mark of age, a sign that it journeyed far yet remained untouched by harsh damage. It tells us it lived not in a hostile environment, but in a quiet existence where time added character rather than destruction. Look closely at this coin's history. You can still see Roosevelt's profile, his determined portrait standing strong against the decades. His hair strands remain surprisingly intact, his jawline remains bold, and his eye still carries quiet purpose. Liberty and In God We Trust may have softened slightly, but they stand proudly alongside the D mint mark, proof that this coin came from Denver's metallic heart. Flip it, and the iconic flaming torch flanked by the olive branch of peace and the oak branch of strength continues to burn brightly across the reverse. These details are what set this piece apart from its 1946 siblings. Its strike, definition, integrity, even after so many years of circulation, defy explanation. Most circulated dimes lose their soul, their detail worn to nothing. But this one, it stayed strong. It lived with dignity. That strength is exactly why this coin is a superstar in the collector world. The market would already value a normal 1946 D-dime simply for its silver composition and historical significance, but a piece with this level of character, this level of preservation, this rare black tone, this is a prize that collectors chase with burning passion. Very few examples have surfaced, and nearly all are locked away in private holdings, never seeing the light of public auctions. When one extremely similar example appeared, the auction halls stood breathless. People did not see 10 cents. They saw a monumental relic, the first year of a new coinage era. Whispered bidding began, and the energy rose like a living flame. Prices crossed every expectation. 50,000, 80,000, 100,000, 130,000, and the numbers kept climbing. Collectors were not just chasing a coin, they were fighting for a piece of history. And then the hammer fell, sealing the value of this coin at an astonishing $188,500, a price that transformed the room into stunned silence. This is not fantasy, this is the real world of rare U.S. treasure. This coin is a vault of pure power. It holds emotional weight, historical gravity, and financial brilliance all at once. The market is watching it constantly. Its value is climbing day by day, and every expert knows the limit has not been reached. With each passing year, with each new collector entering the market, its demand grows, and its price follows, rising like a tide that never falls. To hold such a piece is like having a treasure locked safely in your hand, a treasure whose worth is increasing every year. And collectors who are fortunate enough to own one will never let go easily because they know what they possess. Something rarer than gold, richer than any investment account. This is a treasure with heart, history, and unstoppable momentum. The black shade resting on its surface is not a flaw. It is a signature of time. It is proof of authenticity, proof of journey, proof of survival. That toning adds mystery, depth, and character that collectors adore. They look at it not as darkening, but as poetry, a sign that the coin is alive, that it has lived. And even though it survived years of circulation, its fine condition tells us that somewhere along the way, someone, knowingly or unknowingly, cared for it. Perhaps it rested in a drawer, a jewelry box, a locked chest, waiting for time to reveal its true worth. Today, that worth is extraordinary. For collectors, the message is simple. If you ever come across a 1946 D. Roosevelt dime with strong detail and natural dark toning, treat it like the rarest treasure. Hold it. Protect it. Get it verified. Because what looks like an ordinary dime could be a fortune waiting to awaken. And this is not fiction. This is truth happening every day in the modern coin market. Stories like this are why people across America are searching through their old coin jars, their inherited collections, their forgotten boxes, hoping to uncover the next miracle. Because this is proof that even a circulated dime over 75 years old can appear suddenly and change everything. And remember, my channel CoinX USA brings fresh new updates every single day, so you never miss the next discovery of hidden wealth. Our journey continues, and every step reveals new treasure. The next coin will take us even deeper into the world, where tiny pieces of metal become life-changing treasures. Coin number 9. As we move deeper into the mysterious world of modern American treasure, coin number 9 suddenly steps out of the shadows and demands our attention. A Roosevelt dime from the year 2000, proudly carrying the D mint mark, wrapped in a striking black layer and preserved in fine condition that has stunned collectors nationwide. At first glance, you might expect an early century dime to hold little significance. After all, the year 2000 feels close, familiar, recent. But this is exactly where the magic lies. Beneath the simplicity of its date hides a secret so extraordinary that it has shaken the belief of collectors everywhere. This coin's rarity, history, and condition have elevated its status beyond anything expected from a modern minted dime, bringing its breathtaking current market value to around $42,000, a number that continues to rise, surprising even the most experienced numismatists. The story begins at the Denver Mint, during a period when the United States was crossing the threshold of a new millennium. The year 2000 brought a wave of technology, cultural expansion, and a sense of limitless progress. Millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck to serve everyday commerce. They flowed out into the world to be used casually, slipped into pockets, spent in stores, tossed into donation jars, and dropped into vending machines without hesitation. No one believed that any dime from this time would one day rise and dominate the spotlight. Yet, from within that endless sea of production, there emerged an elite few, pieces possessing unique surface qualities, richer preservation, stronger strike, and unusual character. And among them, the 2000D Roosevelt dime with a blackened tone stands as an astonishing survivor. While most dimes from this era exhibit only standard appearance with predictable wear, this coin's dark layer sets it apart instantly. The toning is like a cloak, not a symptom of damage, but a badge of its extraordinary journey. It reveals that the coin rested in an environment where natural time-based reactions formed a deep, mysterious sheen across its surface. This black character is striking, eye-catching, and proof of authenticity. It enhances the coin rather than undermining it. Under that shadowed surface, the fine condition shines through clearly. Roosevelt's portrait is sharp, his hairline and facial structure preserved beautifully despite the passage of more than 2 decades. The inscriptions, "Liberty and in God we trust," stand with authority, while the D mint mark remains crisp along the left side of Roosevelt's neck, a marker of its Denver origins. Turning the coin over reveals even more wonder. The iconic torch, symbolizing enlightenment and strength, rises between the oak branch of victory and the olive branch of peace. Even after years in circulation, the detail remains bold and confident. You can sense that this coin never endured harsh environments or rough handling. Instead, it seems to have lived quietly, hidden away, shielded from abrasive surfaces that would normally strip away its detail. Few examples of this year survive in such unexpectedly strong condition, and even fewer bear the kind of darkened tone that collectors crave. For this reason, the 2000D fine-condition dime with black layer has evolved from simple currency to rare treasure. Collectors began whispering about this coin only within the last few years. As modern-era coins started to gain attention in the marketplace, people began looking harder at years once considered too new to matter. And then it happened, a stunning example surfaced at a notable auction. What unfolded next was pure electricity. The bidding began with cautious excitement. But within a few minutes, the energy grew. People realized something important was happening. A dime from the year 2000 was suddenly commanding serious attention. The bids escalated without hesitation. 1,000, 5,000, 8,000, 12,000. The tension in the room became palpable. Then the number surged upward. 25,000, 33,000, 36,000, until finally the hammer dropped, settling at an astonishing $42,000. Silence fell. No one expected it, yet no one questioned it. Because the moment you see this coin in person, you understand. This is not hype. This is truth. A dime that once moved through daily life unnoticed is now a coveted treasure. The market recognized its rarity, and its price continues to rise with every passing month. Collectors know that modern rarities are the new frontier, and this dime stands as one of the brightest stars in that new era. Demand grows stronger every day, and those who are fortunate enough to own such a piece guard it closely. They know time is pushing the value upward. They know they hold a treasure with the potential to increase again and again. This isn't like ordinary investments. This is history, art, mystery, and hidden fortune sitting quietly in the palm of your hand. The black layer, in particular, fuels curiosity and desire, because no two-toned coins age the same way. Each one becomes a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, shaped by time alone. It tells us that this dime was sheltered, kissed by the years rather than scratched by circulation. Even though it is classified as circulated, its condition rises well above the expected average. Every detail that survived adds value, charm, power. To serious collectors, an example like this is not just an object, it's a story, a relic, a heartbeat of American currency frozen in time. Imagine the possibilities. Safekeeping boxes, forgotten rolls, childhood coin jars. Anywhere in America, someone may be unknowingly holding this $42,000 treasure, and its value, already astonishing, continues to climb. This is not fiction. This is happening right now in the United States. Coin market. People everywhere are waking up, searching their old collections, hoping to find the next miracle. Because this 2000D Roosevelt dime proves that life-changing fortune can still be discovered in a coin so small, so ordinary, yet so unimaginably valuable. If you ever come across a 2000D dime with strong detail and dark toning, never underestimate it. Do not spend it. Do not ignore it. Protect it. Verify it. Because it may hold a treasure beyond your imagination. A treasure that grows stronger, richer, more desirable with each passing season. And remember, this coin's value today is only the beginning. The market has spoken, and its voice rises louder every day. Our journey continues, and every coin reveals a new chapter of hidden wealth. And yes, my channel, CoinX USA, brings fresh daily updates to help you stay ahead, explore new finds, and never miss the next breakthrough story. Coin number 10. Now we arrive at coin number 10, a Roosevelt dime from 1977 without any mint mark, dressed in a lightly blackened layer and preserved in a surprising circulated condition that hides a legendary secret beneath its surface. At first, it appears simple, humble, just a small everyday coin, born during the American late 70s. But this very simplicity is the heartbeat of its mystery. Because hidden within this tiny silver-colored disc lies a phenomenon so rare and so unexpected that it has stunned collectors and historians across the nation, pushing its breathtaking current market price to nearly $138,000, a value that feels unreal, yet is completely real within today's treasure-hungry coin world. It is proof that fortune often hides in the plainest places, places most of us never think to look. The year 1977 rests in a fascinating period of U.S. history. America had just passed through one of its most transformative eras, the cultural explosion of the 60s and the political friction of the early 70s. By 1977, the nation was rebuilding, evolving, and looking forward. Millions of Roosevelt Dimes were struck to fuel the country's growing commerce. They filled banks, stores, vending machines, laundromats, cash registers flowing silently from hand to hand. And among those countless dimes, a very small handful emerged different, unusual, almost touched by fate. Among them stands this remarkable 1977 no mint mark Roosevelt dime, boasting a lightly blackened tone that sweeps across its surface like a quiet night sky. Most coins from this decade tell stories of wear, flattened hairlines, soft lettering, rubbed edges, but this dime is different. Even in circulated condition, it holds on to its details with grace. Roosevelt's portrait remains intact, his facial lines still proud and visible, a sign that this coin was cared for or perhaps tucked away from harsher environments. The absence of a mint mark intensifies its mystery. No tiny D from Denver, no S from San Francisco, nothing. Just silence, a blank space that should have never been blank, which is exactly what makes this coin so special. This omission is not a factory oversight to be dismissed. It is a rare birth defect that elevates this coin into a category of its own. The lightly blackened layer on the coin's body gives it a distinguished character, a soft veil of darkness that enhances its mystique. It is not damage, it is time-crafted beauty. This natural toning hints that the coin rested somewhere unique, untouched by harsh circulation, allowing Mother Nature to decorate its metal with gentle shadow. Collectors love this kind of toning because it proves authenticity and adds artistic aesthetic. Every layer, every shade, tells a quiet story. Turn the coin over, and the beauty continues. The reverse shows the iconic torch, symbol of unity, strength, and enlightenment, standing between the olive branch of peace and the oak branch of victory. Even after circulation, these symbols remain bold, their details clear enough to easily see the fine lines engraved decades ago. This tells us the coin lived a careful life, spending some time in the real world, yes, but not enough to erase its charm. Few examples from 1977 survive in this balanced combination of rarity, condition, and toning. And that combination is exactly why the value has skyrocketed into six figures. The shockwave truly began when a coin of this type entered a collector's auction in the United States. Not many cared at first, because 1977 seems too modern, too common. But expert eyes saw it differently. They recognized the missing mint mark, the natural black toning, the quality of preservation. And suddenly, the bidding floor transformed. 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. The room shifted into awe. The numbers kept climbing as collectors realized they were staring at one of the rarest no-mint mark Roosevelt dimes ever confirmed. 40,000, 55,000, 67,000. The audience fell still. You could hear breaths catching. The auctioneer's voice grew tighter and faster as the number surged again. 100,000, 110,000, 120,000 until at last, the hammer struck with finality at a staggering $138,000. Silence. Then whispers. Then shock. A simple 1977 dime, a coin countless Americans once spent without a second thought, had just become a treasure worth more than cars, jewelry, or even homes. Numismatists soon began searching for answers. Why so rare? How did such an example survive? And could more be out there waiting to be found? The theories continue to swirl. Some believe a tiny batch slipped through production without the mint mark. Others believe this coin may have been part of an experimental or accidental run. Whatever the truth, collectors agree on one thing. This dime is a miracle in metallic form. The lightly black tone adds flavor and uniqueness because time-enhanced coins never age the same way. Each is a one-of-a-kind fingerprint of nature. Combined with the unnamed birthplace, the absence of any mint mark, this dime becomes a story, not just a currency. You're not just looking at metal, you're looking at history, accident, survival, and mystery fused into one. Its current market value is jaw-dropping, but what excites experts most is what comes next. The market is hungry. Collectors want it. Investors are watching. And prices are slowly drifting upward, meaning the $138,000 record is likely not the end. It may one day break into $150,000, maybe more. And someone somewhere may be holding one without knowing they possess a fortune the size of a life-changing dream. Imagine finding this coin in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, a childhood box. Imagine the moment you realize the tiniest coin in your hand could buy you a new car, pay your loans, or change your family's future. That is the magic of rare coins. They turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Always remember, if you discover a 1977 Roosevelt dime without mint mark, with a natural dark layer and strong remaining detail, protect it instantly. Do not spend it. Get it verified, because it might be the very treasure the world is now chasing. A piece worth not pennies or dollars, but a staggering six-figure fortune.